Hello. How is everyone? I'm back. I didn't stream yesterday because I was not here. Well, I was, but I'd just gotten back and I was exhausted. I also got back way later than I expected to. So, yeah, it's a good thing I cancelled stream. But yay! We're back today. It's now getting quite cool, but it was really hot earlier, so I've ended up streaming like an hour and a half later than usual. I do apologize for that. Hopefully next week we just go back to normal schedule, like no more weirdness with I was like, what's that? That's my headphones. Hi Tony, happy birthday Tony. Are you feeling all energetic now after your power nap? And please tell me you have cake. And if you don't have cake, you need to go out, you need to go buy a cake. I don't care from where. And then we celebrate with cake and blowing out candles and stuff. Yeah, hopefully next week there'll be no weirdness with like me not being available and weird schedules and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we will just do streams as usual. Even if it is hot, we'll just do streams as usual. Just today in particular, I was also feeling very tired. Probably still from my trip to Madrid. And I was also feeling lazy. I'm not gonna lie, I was also feeling lazy, but just the heat was. I didn't feel like overheating, basically. Usually I don't mind, but today I was like, nah. Estoy cenando en un restaurante. Ooh, Italian or Venezuelan or. I bought, Tony, the other day. I bought flour to make arepas, and I'm so excited because I love arepas. I love them. So I want to learn to make them myself, and I know they're not difficult to make. So yeah, I got the flour for it the other day, and I'm so excited. I might do that at some point this week, actually. I know they're not very healthy, but yeah. Como las hagas mal, te insulta. I mean, depends on what your definition of not making them correctly is. Is it like Venezuelan way versus Colombian way? Because I know how you, like, in Venezuela, they fill them, and in Colombia, they put things on top, right? So if you mean that, I go for both. Depending on the mood, okay? Estoy comiendo italiana. Pedí pasta, una pizza y ensalada. Very good. What pasta with what sauce? And enjoy. But yeah, I'm gonna learn to make arepas, and I might do that in this week. I want to make a potato salad as well at some point, because potato salad in the summer is good. We like potato salad in the summer. So I might do that. I might do a pasta salad. I did pasta salad last week and the week before though, so maybe the potato salad will substitute the pasta salad. My nose is really itchy. I think I've got cat hair, like, around my nose. So yes, if I make arepas this week, I will let you know how they turned out. Tomorrow I'm having enchiladas. Mushroom and chickpea enchiladas. Yeah. Hold on. I think my mum has messaged me. Okay, no, that wasn't my mother. Ah, the cat hair. I saw, I added a game to our list of game suggestions. Esta es una de las pocas veces que me verás comer afuera y saludable. I'm proud of you, well done. Good for you, treating yourself on your birthday. You should. It's nice. Así que no se acostumbre. 120 stream streak. You're insane. Yes, GG. Thank you for the support, Tony. What was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something. 80 más para la cena con la stream. Esa va a ser la próxima vez que comas fuera de casa, ¿no? I don't know how you expect to have dinner with me, Tony. Also, I told you brunch. Tea. We like tea. I was gonna say something. I can't remember what I was gonna say. And it was actually semi-relevant as well. Solo ocasiones puntuales, o sea, casi nunca. I mean, I don't go out for dinner very often either because, well, especially dinner, but also just for breakfast or lunch or brunch or anything. I don't go that often. But that's because I live in the middle of nowhere and it takes a lot of effort to go anywhere. And I like being at home, and generally I like cooking. I just don't cook as often as, like, I don't cook daily because I get tired. I'll do the fit check in a second. So yeah, I quite often eat like things that I've stored in my freezer that I've cooked myself. So yeah, I do have like good meals and they taste good at home. But yeah. Twitch sacó una nueva planta. You mean they've added those tiny, almost invisible little dots around the flower and made the flower a little bit bigger? Oh, whoopsie. I just nearly broke stuff. Anyway, fit check. We have shorts and this thing that I made that is actually for the beach, but I wanted to wear it, so here we are. One of my crochet tops. It's very cute. No, es la misma, pero en vez de rosa es azul. Vale. Si digo que se le ve con esa blusa, me censuran. A ver. I am aware. This does not cover much. I am aware. But it covers what needs covering. Come on. And anyway, y'all never really see me from, like, here up anyway, so... Except for the fit check. Oh, and my feet are bare feet. We don't even have the flip-flop move today. We don't get the flip-flop dance. I mean, they are right here. I'm just not wearing them. I can put them on. Hold on. We'll do the flip-flop move. Es que no te muestras de esa parte para abajo. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Flip-flop move. Heh. Y'all saw my flip-flops. Or one of them anyway. The left one. Was that the left one? Yeah, that was the left one. Okay, flip-flops are off again. Right. We're going to actually play because I think we're finishing this game today. Unlike Dream Drop Distance. Hey, Domination, how you doing? Domination, have you congratulated our birthday baby? I was going to say birthday boy, but no, he's so young. He's the birthday baby. And no, Tony, you're not any older. You're still just a baby. You will eternally be a baby. You could be 50 years old and you're still just going to be a baby. So, you're just going to have to deal with it. She keeps calling me baby. Yeah. Yeah, it's Tony's birthday today, Domination. Like, I set up... What, are you 13 now? Exactly. He's officially a teenager. Oh, 14. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I specifically set up a birthday channel on the server with the birthday bot. So whenever it's someone's birthday, it shows up in that channel. I'm proud of myself because I have no idea how Discord works for anything beyond sending a message and @ everyone. Like, that is my level of understanding of Discord. And you can call me old all you like. So for me to have found and set up unsuccessfully at first, I do apologize, Tony. For me to have found and set up the birthday bot thing is a huge deal, and I'm proud of myself. And I did that so that we wouldn't forget Tony's birthday. The birthday message popped up 5 hours later. Yeah, Tony, I had configured it wrong. I hadn't set it up correctly, so I had to, when you said that it hadn't come up, I fixed it, and then it wouldn't let me set the time for like the birthday message with minutes. It's only like on the hour, and because it was already like 10:05 or something, I was like, well, now I need to wait until 11, so I set it for 11, and then it did go off. And now I've set it back to midnight again, so for other people's birthdays it will show up at midnight. So yeah. Grandma Mace and baby Tony, yeah, basically. I mean, Domination, you're older than I am, so oh, camera. So you're not really one to talk. Like you're the great grandfather. Uncle Dommy? Yeah, he's older than I am. He's ancient. Like, if I'm prehistoric, he's prehistoric. He's like Big Bang. Yeah, but I have a youthful spirit, so I'm like 23. Sure. Youthful. Hey, Alex, ¿cómo estás? Hello, Mace, ¿qué tal? Bien. Au, au. Mal, porque acabo de atropellar el pie. Ow. I just ran over my own foot with the wheel of the chair. Ow. That really hurt. Tony, your birthday is an unlucky day for me. Like, ow. Posture check, ahora. Dame un segundo para terminar de sufrir. Ah, my foot. Okay, everything's fine. I'm not crying. Ow. Oh, Jesus. Okay, 300 IQ streamer, yeah. Oh, I'm done with uni, by the way. Yay. ¿Qué culpa tengo yo? Yo qué sé. Ha pasado el día de tu cumple. Esa es la culpa que tienes. Right. Qué dolor. Sí, mucho dolor. Wait. Controller, come on. Please tell me controller's not dead. I don't remember if I charged it in the end. Bien, me voy. Cries in baby. Gets angry in baby. Do we need to collectively sing happy birthday to you later, Tony? Or not? What am I doing here? Why am I here? I guess we go do this. It's in the map chamber. As you like. Well, it's your birthday. You choose if we sing or not. Gonna go bet on red or black. He's not betting today. Domination. Don't be a bad influence.
Victor Rookwood is dead.
Right. Long dialogue.
He confronted me as I left Ollivanders with the
Probably.
Keeper's wand.
I'm just taking a guess now.
I had to defend myself.
God, are you all right? I know you're well able to defend
I saw
yourself,
yesterday
and
when I was on the
seen it often
train on the
enough.
way back
But
home,
Rookwood himself.
sitting really close to me, like on the other side of the aisle, was a lady, I don't know, in her 30s or something. That's not relevant. She was wearing a really, really nice summer dress. And it was black, like entirely black, but it was the exact style and flowiness and everything of a summer dress. And I was like, I need that. Like, my issue with summer dresses is that, you know, I have a few, but they are very colourful and I have to be in the mood for colour to wear them. But if I had like a flowy black summer dress, that'd be really nice. But I really struggled to find them. And then I regretted, I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm too shy. And then I regretted not asking her where she got it from. Da, 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 da. If Domi is a bad influence, I'm evil. Yes, yes, you are. I'll be in Vegas 2 weeks. We'll need to do one spin of roulette for you. Wow. Tony is actually a bad influence on domination. Enjoy Vegas. I can imagine. I was about to say San Vegas. I can imagine Las Vegas is quite an experience. Like just to see it. I would like to go just one time in my life just to see it. I'm sure I would hate it, but I feel like it's one of those places that you just sort of have to see.
He destroyed so many lives and wouldn't have stopped. I'm glad.
No, don't blame me. You're the one who
You're
doesn't
right.
want to help
He
with my
wouldn't have
gambling
stopped.
problem.
You did what you had to do.
I've told you to
With
sort out
Harlem
your gambling
custody and
problem.
Rookwood gone, the wizarding
There's
community
great shows
owes
and
you
food.
a
You can skip the
great debt.
gambling. I know.
Thank you
I
for
know.
saying so,
The
Professor.
thing, my
ready
issue
for
with
what's
all of
next.
these kinds of
Alright,
city visits
the
is that
keepers have been
everything
waiting.
costs money. You want to do anything, it costs money, especially in cities like Vegas. Like, Vegas isn't a city to just go walk around and spend some time in a park and I don't know, go and see like the arty district and then, oh look, there's a free entry to museums day. Like, that's the kind of city that I prefer to go to, or where you're just walking through like a historic center and just the buildings are pretty and you want to stop and look at them, and like you go and buy some fruit from the local fruit vendor kind of situation. Las Vegas is not that. Las Vegas, yes, obviously you can walk around just to see the sights, but in one day you're done because it's all the same. After that, if you want to do anything or see anything, you have to pay, and none of it is cheap. And I don't like that concept as a general rule. But like I said, I think Las Vegas is probably a very interesting experience. So it is somewhere on my list of places to go. It's not high on the list. There are a lot of places above it. I'd say Toledo here in Spain, Japan, Iceland,
must now be used only to protect the secret.
Norway. I'd like to see
You have the wand. You will know when to wield it.
Australia and or New Zealand. I wouldn't mind going to like Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand.
Astonishing.
Mexico would be nice as well. Peru, Chile, Argentina. But yeah, like there comes a point in the list where there's not any priority. It would be more like depends who and where, and how much it costs. But definitely Toledo, Japan, and Iceland in that order. I'm dying to go to Japan, like absolutely dying. If shows have beautiful women, I can skip food so I can gamble and watch some good women. I'm sure you'd get married with an Elvis priest as well. Yeah, a ticket to a hockey game is like $50 in most states, but they're $250 for the Vegas team just because it's Vegas. Yeah, exactly.
I hope that the enchantments protecting the castle would protect against an incursion from below.
I fear they may not. Although, if they don't now, I can assure you they will in the future.
Have a look. No, too many crazy women to get married. Hey, Tony.
Were you able to reach Professor Weasley?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Hopefully she
It highlighted crazy women. I don't understand why that's offensive.
The door through which we entered.
Well, I do, but I don't care. It's not offensive enough. It was the combination of crazy women. Tony. 5,000 stream streak? You and I will go to Vegas. We're not getting married, though.
If his loyalists are here, he cannot be far behind.
You and I have faced worse.
But you've altered the spelling. Also, no one clipped that I said about the 5,000 stream streak. Because we need to be able to casually forget about that detail if it does happen.
Drill stands between us and him. We need to move.
I shall handle it. One moment.
Oh, okay. Not me then.
Let's go.
Revelio.
Just check there's no treasures in the area. No. It seems like a challenge. I mean, it would be. Maximum stalker behavior. Speaking of, my stalker got in contact with me again, which of course made me very happy. Can I just say, I hate men, and when I say that, I mean a certain type of men. Yeah, it wouldn't work as normal. Nope. Tony is crazy. See, that works. Just want to test your auto mod at this point. Yeah. This is like the 5th phone number, 6th phone number that he's made to try and contact me. So it's like... because I keep blocking him everywhere. Men are crazy, yeah. Yeah. Like, in English, it's hard to... I'm offended. Don't tell me it doesn't show the clip. What clip? Yeah, in Spanish, because of the spelling rules that we have in Spanish, the word men, hombres, is spelt Hombres, and some of the spelling rules allow you to change it. So the pronunciation is exactly the same, but you uglify the word, basically, in its spelling, even though the pronunciation is the same. And my friends and I use that version of the word to refer to these kind of men, like the guy that stalks me. So what you do is you remove the H, you switch the M to an N, and you change the B for a V. So basically, aside from the MN bit, which is not very noticeable, the entire pronunciation is still the same, but instead of saying hombres, you say hombres. And then, like, for people who don't already know, you go without the H. So you go hombres sin H, con N y con V. So without the H, with N and with V. That's the guys that I refer to when I say that I hate men. Yeah, you probably don't have permission to send links in chat, Tony. I don't want people sending links in chat. Send it to Discords. Hombre, cambia la M por una N. M de Murcia la cambias por una N de Navarra. But yeah, it's not happy fun times, I'm not gonna lie. Oh great, 2 trolls. Love life right now. Ow! Oh my god. Whoops, I was way too early on that Glacius. Oh well. Okay. What do you mean a dead end? The trolls just came in through those walls. Anyway, any treasures? No treasures.
Professor, that wall. That's the way forward.
Very perceptive, mine. It worked. Let's go.
It worked.
Ranrock must be getting closer to finding.
Hey, Nicholas. Hombre primitivo. Total. Like, I'm gonna ask a really bad question. Have any of you ever stalked a woman? If so, why? Or stalked another man? I don't care. Why? What's the point? Like, what do you get out of it? Aside from probably a reaction, because this is me reacting, clearly. But, like, why? That reminds me, I have 2 language gripes with your people, okay? With your people. By your people, I mean the Brits. Oh god, here we go. Go on, then. What you want? A bottle of water? Bruv. I love how that is not my accent at all, so I can make fun of that accent. Also, why does my camera struggle to focus so much lately? Remember that Mace speaks 10 languages and 2 of them consist of swear words and insults. What? English and Spanish?
Professor. There's nothing we can do but keep searching.
Probably the most civilized language I speak. Like, where it's least common to swear, like, without caring like, without even picking up on the fact that you are swearing is Dutch. But obviously not when you're with, like, authority figures or, like, informal contexts, then Spaniards are pretty good about it. But as soon as you're more relaxed with someone, you just start throwing swear words in a sentence and no one cares. Like, it's just normal. It's as if I'm saying milk, water, potato. Like, it doesn't matter. And a lot of stuff in English is the same. It depends. In English, it's definitely also a class thing. Like, lower class, middle class, upper class thing. And it's very badly regarded from, like, the upper class to lower. Like, because you're a commoner if you swear and stuff. But between us commoners, which I include myself in, it's not that big of a thing. That being said, in my family, we don't swear very much. Like, very occasionally because of a specific thing. But definitely not at all while my brother and I were growing up. And not even as teenage, like, even in our late teenage years. It's only been in, like, the last 5-6 years or so that we've started being a bit more relaxed about that with the four of us. But again, for very specific things, like if you're directly quoting something or someone, or like you're extremely frustrated about something, then yeah, maybe you'll throw in a swear word here and there, but we don't use it in our regular vocabulary at home. But then with all my friends, like with my best friend, she lives in England, it's all the time the same as it is in Spanish. Okay, abbreviating long words is normal and fine, but the Brits create an in-between word for no reason. First, air conditioning is AC. What? What is aircon? Second, advertisement becomes ad. Easy. What is an advert? It's an advert. Like, aircon and advert. But we do also say AC and ad. We use both versions. French, German, no. Dutch, yes. Aramaic, no. Chinese, no way. Korean, meh. 2 words. Arabic, nothing. And Portuguese, also nothing. I struggle to understand Portuguese more than Italian. I find Italian much easier to follow than Portuguese for some reason. Even though Portuguese and Spanish are actually more similar. AC in Spanish is like before Christ. Yeah. Antes de Cristo. Oh, stupid camera. I just moved it so that it would focus better. I think I may have made it worse. There we go. Just get rid of the middle one. Oh. Like, what are my decks again?
These tunnels haven't brought us much luck so far.
Revelio.
No, they have not. But that's okay. Mace was born in 1992 before Christ. No. I was born in 1998.
We're getting closer, Professor. That way.
I want to go up there, though.
Revelio.
Is there anything up there? It doesn't look like there's anything up there. Never mind. Grandma Mace. Domination, you are older. Oh, also, Nicholas, I didn't ignore your treat Sooty. She's just not here. I think it was a treat Sooty that you did. Sorry, did I not acknowledge at all? You did redeem a treat Sooty. I will give it to her when she comes back, I promise. Imagine almost being 30. Imagine already being 30. She's nearer to 40 than to 20. Tony, I'm not. I'm 8 years away from 20 and 12 years away from 40. Can't imagine that. Yeah, right.
They got this.
Very nice.
Time to move. We're in the thick of it now.
We'll show these beasts who's in charge.
Indeed. I like Professor Heckertz. I didn't like her at first, but... Oh. Whoops. Wow! Whoopsie. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Wrong one. I keep getting my spells confused. Why? I keep pushing the wrong buttons.
Look out! Another troll. This one's worse than the last two.
Stop him!
What's that?
Glacius.
When I turn 26, she will be 50. Give or take, yeah. There we go, my combos are getting better now. Hold on, my mum has messaged me.
That's our way forward.
Bye. Tony, go treat your cat. I don't have my cat with me. Aw. Tony, go treat yourself. You can be your own pet. It's his birthday. Go shorty. It's your birthday. Tony, you're allowed to sip Bacardi, but not too much of it, okay? My dealer doesn't have any interest. No! I meant with cake. Normal cake. Those swords are really cool. Oh. Domination, shut up. You said treat myself. No, without specifying with what. I meant a cake.
We made it.
I'm relieved we got here before Ranrock.
Did we though?
I can't believe this is it. The repository has been under the castle.
Hey, Alex. Ya te iba a dejar un mensaje de Haze porque pensé que no estabas en directo. Aquí estamos.
George, your friend
Pero te salvaste,
Lockhart,
yes.
and countless others died for. Miriam believed this.
I think
forgotten magic
my
could be
cows,
used
I
for
said my
such
cat.
good.
I think Suits is with
But
my
she did not know
parents.
the risks. She did not see what the keepers have shown.
De nada, te perdoné,
What
gracias.
Isadora showed you. You are
Me
now the
moriría sin tu
keeper of
perdón.
whatever power it holds. What do you intend to do with it?
What do I intend to do with it? People? Estoy bendecida. Mucho. Do I intend to keep it contained or do I intend to open it? Anyone? Why am I so bad at deciding? Let's keep it contained.
I plan to keep the repository as it is.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Liberado al Kraken.
I've been thinking.
I wonder in that game that I want to play,
secret from everyone, including
Siren,
Professor Weasley.
I think it's called.
But now I wonder
If there's a Kraken in it, because you're supposed to be hunting like deep sea monsters.
Trusted them more. The keepers wanted
Fantastical deep sea monsters.
How long will you
so
keep it?
Surely there's a Kraken, which would be really cool. I also saw, I remember what I was going to say earlier. I also saw a trailer for a game, which is just like your standard fighty game, and the MC is a woman. But the fight sequences have been made, or her sequences have been made, by a ballerina. They put the trackers on a ballerina, and she like did whole dances and things. And apparently it's like, as you get better and you do like better combos of moves and stuff, the more ballet-esque the moves become, which seems like a really cool concept. I don't know what the story is. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but just that element seems like a cool idea to me, to combine like aggressive, gory fighting with the elegance of a ballerina. Obviously, like, some of the moves are sped up or made to look more powerful, because obviously in ballet everything is generally everything. Obviously there are characters and characters, but generally everything is so elegant and graceful and smooth. Some parts, obviously, to keep that fightiness of it, you could tell like the kick would be very much like into a standing split, but the way the kick is executed would be slightly more aggressive than a standard ballerina would be. And it seemed like a cool concept. ¿Qué juego es, has dicho? So the first one, el primero era Siren, creo que se llama, y no ha salido todavía. Y este otro tiene un nombre, creo que ruso, o ucraniano, o bueno, del cirílico, digamos. Y el nombre está en el Discord. En el canal de sugerencias hay un listado de juegos. Es el último juego en el listado de juegos independientes. Algo de something. Let me have a look. Suggestions. Sarevna. Cirílico, polaco. Cirílico es... ve el clip que saqué. No. I will watch it after stream. Cirílico is that whole group of Eastern European languages with the Cyrillic alphabet. So, like, that whole writing and everything. Which includes Ukrainian, Russian, Bulgarian... I don't know if Polish would be considered Cyrillic, because they use the Latin alphabet. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that seemed like a cool concept for a game, so I've added it to the list just because I want to see what it's like. I don't know if the game is going to be any good. Also, it's not out yet, as far as I'm aware. But I am very excited for Siren. I saw like a little bit of the trailer gameplay, and that seemed cool. Like the aesthetic of it. So I'd like to play that, but it's not out, which is very sad because I want to play it after this. I don't know when it's coming out.
The keepers were right. The risk of using this magic is too dangerous.
My
It
tea
is
is
my
finished.
responsibility
I need
alone
my
to
second
keep it
cup of
safe.
tea.
I understand, but you are not entirely alone. I will do all I can to help you.
It's really warm in here. I might need to turn my fan on.
The arrogance of wizard kind.
How is that arrogant? I'm trying to save the planet. Come on, Ranrock.
Enough, Ranrock. It was never yours.
Why would it belong to Ranrock? Because they made the iron in it, or whatever it is? Silver?
Miriam's wand. If she'd simply handed over the container, all of this could have been avoided. Foolish, self-important witch. Seems you were two of a kind.
Why are goblin hands so insanely disproportionately big compared to their bodies? Oh no! Uh-oh. That seems like a lot of not good. It's a Meiskie knee! It's Meiskie's bad knee, actually. Ooh. Dragon. But then you're not a goblin anymore, Ranrock. Now you've become an animagus. A weird metallic animagus. Oh, okay.
It's feeding off the power from the repository.
Your beautiful magic is no match for mine, child.
How am I supposed to defeat Ranrock?
My spells are having no effect on the dragon.
Ah, okay. Oh! With that.
Those traces of magic are somehow protecting the dragon. That did the trick. I have you now, Ranrock.
Yeah, nice. Ah, my nose is still itchy. Not me, just looking for treasure. I'm coming closer. God, you're impatient.
Potato, stupefy. Stupefy. You can't stop me.
Okay.
Potato, stupefy.
What?
Two sources of power. Fringo. Ha! Don't like that very much, do you? Bombarda. Glacier.
Oh, ow, ow, ow.
Fender.
Ouch. I messed that up really bad.
Glacier. Glaciers.
Ow!
Fender.
Stop! You have no idea what you're doing.
How long are you going to keep up the charade?
Okay. That seems really bad.
Not so powerful now, are you, Ranrock? Glacius, defender.
Nice.
I know you're
Will I?
feeling it now, Ranrock.
Oh, okay. I may have gotten a bit too close.
You think you can stop me?
Do as a matter of fact.
I will defeat you in Lodbok's memory.
Ow! Does Bombarda work on him? Does okay damage. Not great. Oh. Incendio was no good.
This is for Professor Fig.
Ah! Hey! Hey! Stop trampling me. Go. Next one. Hey, Erche. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Oh, oh. Yay? Yay or no yay? Am I dead? Am I not dead? Why do I look dead? Oh no, that's Ramrock. Right, okay. ¿Qué tal, Erche? I have snacks with me because I was still really hungry after I finished my dinner. So I made some crackers for me to snack on during stream. And we are going to commence that snacking process right now. We've got some crackers with brie and some crackers with jam or marmalade. Muy bien, ¿vos qué tal? Bien, bien, bien. Recuperándome de mi mini viaje a Madrid. And now I die or something. All the keepers appear. Whoopsie! I got crumbs on me. pond. How cute.
Would have loved you, my young friend.
Ah.
The wizarding world could not be in more
See,
capable hands.
if this were happening in Kingdom Hearts, between, say, Sora and Mickey, I'm saying Mickey because Mickey is sort of like a mentor figure to Sora. If this were happening in Kingdom Hearts between those two, I would be sobbing right now because attachment to the characters. That's not happening here. That's sad. I haven't enjoyed the story of this game very much in general. Uh-oh.
Professor Eleazar Fig. I dare
There we go.
say he was a beloved professor to many of you.
I'm holding the plate now
Long-standing
because I don't want more
colleague of his
crumbs
peers. A famed
on my top.
adventurer and seeker of knowledge, he built a reputation charging into the unknown, brazenly disregarding both discretion and safety, providing perhaps a rather unfortunate
Domination, your girlfriend is upset. You need to go comfort her.
Was rivaled
After I've comforted her, of course, because she's first my
and of
girlfriend.
course, to his wife, Miriam, whom we lost much too soon as well. Yeah.
Professor Fig represented the best of all of us.
Did he?
Oh, he could be deviously clever, possessed a brilliantly inquisitive mind, and was the most loyal of friends.
Okay.
But perhaps it was his remarkable courage, for which we will all be forever indebted to him. If not for Professor Fig, well, I can say with confidence that if not for him, many of us, let alone Hogwarts, would not be here today. Those that knew him best will agree that we must now honor him.
Professor Black is actually upset.
By wisely,
That's surprising.
resourcefully, justly, and bravely facing all that lies ahead.
To Professor Fig!
To Professor Fig.
Can't believe we lost Fig. I didn't know him as well as you did, but I know he was a good man. Glad Weasley spoke for him. She honored him well. Fig will be well remembered. I wish the same could have been done for my uncle. I wonder if there's a chance Anne would meet me.
Sebastian, I can't imagine what you and Anne are going through. Perhaps you'll hear from her soon.
I hope so.
If Sebastian weren't such an idiot,
you know.
we wouldn't have had all this
Sebastian,
storyline.
There's something you should know. It's to do with Victor Rookwood.
I heard a rumor that he confronted you outside of Ollivander's. Sounds as if you faced quite a fight.
The rumors are true, and I did. But it's not that. Just before Rookwood attacked, he uttered something familiar. The same
Did he?
words Anne heard before she was cursed. Children should be
Oh.
seen and not heard.
Wait. What are you saying?
It wasn't one of Ranrock's loyalists who cursed Anne. It was Rookwood. It was Rookwood all along.
This can't be. It was the Loyalists. It's always been them. The night Anne was cursed, all she saw were goblins.
Once Rookwood allied with Ranrock, Isadora's estate became of interest to them both. That's why Rookwood was there the night Anne was cursed. He was working with Ranrock. When he saw your sister,
Well,
I'm
he didn't want
thirsty.
anyone to know.
So he cursed her. And she's
I'm
never been
hydrating
the same.
on my own
So
without a
full.
redeem. Are you proud of me?
Rookwood deserved what he got. Thank you for telling me. It wasn't a goblin. I suppose I owe you an apology. All this time I thought goblins were the enemy. But it was never that simple. Ominous said he's spoken with Anne. I wonder if
Something
she'd
people
see me.
need to understand.
I'll find out and send word
It is
when I know more.
never a whole group of people who are the enemy in their entirety. It is specific people within the group of people. So, yeah. And there are bad people in all groups of people. Doesn't matter what that group is, there are bad people and questionable people and, you know, all the spectrum of people in every group of people. So it's never an entire group of people that are the bad ones or at fault for anything, ever. It's specific people within the groups. Well, my field guide is pretty much complete. Just need the relationship quest. Oh, whoop. Why do these not show in the order that you've acquired them? That really annoys me.
I've thought about what you told me in the Great Hall.
There we
I'd
go.
like to speak with you. Meet me in the Undercroft as soon as you can.
We shall. The Hall of... No. What? Quest is that? Ah, no, that's Professor Weasley. No. Quests. That one. There we go. Oh, I'm sad. One of my patients has messaged and we're finishing up therapy and he can't come this week. Next week is his last week. So we were both hoping that he would have this week and next week. But it's going to be only next week, which is sad. But oh well. You will survive.
I'm glad you came.
Sebastian, I received your owl. What's happened?
Ominis spoke with Anne about what happened with my Uncle Solomon. She believes I should pay for what I did, but she won't turn me in. She said the guilt I'll have to live with is punishment enough.
I'm so sorry, but
Fair
I'm glad
enough.
to know that you can at least try to move on now.
The thing is, I think I've lost my sister, my twin, forever. She refuses
I
to
mean,
even see me.
Sebastian,
I can't
you
blame
did
her.
murder your
I
uncle
couldn't really
because
blame
you
any of
refused
who
to
gave
listen.
up on me entirely. You all
Bueno, pero
believed in me,
que
and I
termine
let you
terapias que va
all
mejor,
down.
¿no? Sí. Va muchísimo mejor. Lleva desde febrero conmigo. Y va muchísimo mejor. pero le quedan cosas pendientes. La cosa es, se va de la universidad, no voy a especificar en qué sentido, pero se va de la universidad y no puede seguir viniendo. Entonces...
Anne may just need some time. Surely one
O
day
sea
she'll
que,
be able to forgive you.
o sea, literalmente es que no puede venir. Entonces tengo que terminar la terapia con él. Como mucho podré hacer una sesión de seguimiento por videollamada, pero ya
But
está.
I believe in you, Sebastian. I've had a sense about you since that first day in Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Seems so long ago. Thank you.
Yes, I've had a sense that I was never
have
gonna
no
like
idea
him.
what's to come, but I'm
Pero sí,
grateful for your
va
friendship.
muchísimo mejor. Va muchísimo mejor.
I'm glad you came to Hogwarts.
Yay, leveled up. Do you get talent points? We do. Don't know what the point is, but sure. Dark arts. I don't use them. That's the thing. Savvy spender. Thank you, Epic Games. Wait, no. Challenges, 100%. Very nice, which means now collections. The clothes are 100%. Why is this not in order? It annoys me. Yo me ofrezco como paciente, que no me vendría mal. No eres el único. Map. Mappity mappity map. Where is this? Looks like it's here, no? Yo lo hice, me envió al manicomio. No, yo lo que voy a hacer es mandarte a un centro de adicciones, Tony. Más que un manicomio. Uno interno, es decir, que te quedes ahí. Pero manicomio no. Why did this look like it was so close to her? Jesus. Okay. Now we walk through half the grounds to... Okay, come on. Woohoo.
Someone as young as me could save my uncle's life.
Hello, Adelaide. How are you and your uncle doing?
Very well, thanks to you.
Por algo sería.
The more I learn about Ranrock's foul lot, the more astounded I am that my uncle survived.
Are you having a nice
Old
birthday,
owls and
Tony?
noticed
Being
that they
teased by
included
everyone?
pertinent details about his rare metal deposits. I believe that Ranrock's fiends were after those deposits and that they needed my uncle's knowledge.
Yo sé que me quieres encerrar.
He was going to rot away in that cell to keep me safe.
Any other pertinent details about those owls?
Plenty. Uncle Roland couldn't be certain.
For your own
but he thought
safety.
He overheard goblins talking about infusing something into goblin silver. He
Estoy
wasn't
teniendo un
sure
buen
what they
cumple.
meant, but
Good.
something about
Was
the
the
way
food
they
good?
spoke of it made his skin crawl. It's clear you saved my uncle from a very bad lot.
I had ramen because I didn't know what to make and I didn't feel like cooking. So I was like, you know what?
At all, Adelaide. I'm just glad your uncle's safe.
So am I.
That random
Seeing
burst
them
of
was such
leaves all of a
relief.
sudden. Whee!
I told him that he must remain vigilant from now on. I, for one, can't help but look over my shoulder now whenever I leave the castle grounds.
Fair enough. Hi, cat.
Uncle Roland sends his best. He often asks after you and his owls.
I'm glad to have made a positive impact on the uncle. She was in the Transfiguration classroom? Why did that other flue flame look closer?
Professor Weasley, you wanted to see me?
I did. We haven't had a chance to speak since I know you were quite close with Professor Fig.
Hogwarts won't
Sorry?
be the same without him.
No, it won't. But I can assure you that he would want us to press on, and that he would rest easy knowing that the future of the wizarding world is in hands like yours.
Thank you, Professor.
Why, thank you.
You've had quite a year, both inside and outside of Hogwarts. I've heard all sorts of rumors. You've ridden a grapphorn.
Domination. I leave for 30 minutes and now we're back to running around the school.
Even helped Mr. Ollivander
See, the
track
fact
down
that
a
you
family
leave
wand.
is how
How
I've
did you
ended
find
up
the good
comforting
secrets around
Garlic
here
when
that
she
one
was
might
crying over the
suspect?
death of Professor Fig.
I'm just glad you found such a
You can't be a good
friend,
boyfriend if you
sweetie.
just up and leave
It's
whenever
nice
you
to
want
see her
Domination.
engaging
Come
more
on.
with her classmates.
You haven't stepped up to
There
the
have
plate
evidently
and
been
someone has
snitching
swooped
sightings in
in
the area
to
lately.
comfort her
If the
instead of
reports are to be
you.
believed,
So,
2 Hogwarts students are behind it.
you know,
I'm certain
it's
I
your
don't
own
know-
fault.
No need to discuss it further.
It's your own fault.
What I
You know,
would like to
I just
discuss
had to
is
offer
your
her a
wizard's
shoulder to
field
cry on.
guide. May I see it?
Of course.
Llamen a la policía que tenemos una impostora duchada y arreglada. ¿Arreglada o no? Duchada sí. Me voy a duchar otra vez, eso sí. Tengo calor.
What do you think, Professor?
I think you've been busy this year. It seems you've nothing left to do to complete
Garlic.
your field guide. Most impressive. With your OWLs soon upon us, I am thrilled to see you so prepared.
¿Cómo te fue en
I
Madrid?
will
Bien.
confess, I had a sense about you from that first moment
Oh
you
my
came
God.
bursting in, late to the sorting
So I
area.
used Uber to
I
move
am
around,
pleased to see that my
instead
instincts
of
were
the
correct.
metro.
To think you've only been with us a
Just
year
because
and
I
you're
realised
already
that
taking
where
your
my hotel was
OWLs,
located,
well, it's
I would have
nothing
had to
short of
walk 20
astonishing.
minutes
Thank
to
you,
get to
Professor,
the metro.
for everything.
You're most welcome. I look
Plus
forward to
another
seeing
20
what you
minutes
do
on the
during rest
metro
of your time
versus like just 25 minutes in the Uber or something, even though the Uber was so expensive. Anyway, so I used Ubers to move around a little bit for like stuff that I had to do. And generally like taxi drivers and Uber drivers and stuff, they're fairly chatty. And that was the case with the ones that I had. And I don't mind, like I've got the hang of I'll just ask a couple questions and then they just talk and then I can just sit there and listen, which is not difficult to do. But one of them, she was a Colombian lady. Must have been, I don't know, like late 30s or something. And she told me that when she was 18, a man had tried to essay her. And he had a machete and she resisted and he attacked her with the machete and cut her 35 times all over her body. Like she had scars like along her jaw, her neck, her arm, like both arms, like especially one of them. There was like just this whole chunk, like a whole dent in her arm from where like just a whole chunk of her skin had come off and they'd had to stitch it back. And she said like that part of her arm all the way up to her finger was numb and everything. So that was quite a story to listen to. So that was like one of the impactful moments of my visit to Madrid. And everything else was like, even that, like she was really nice and really friendly and everything. And it was nice to talk with her about that. And everything that she did afterwards and everything. To like get over it and get her own life back and her confidence back and all of that. Really fascinating woman. And then everything else went well as well, generally. There was a bit of an issue to pay for my passport because obviously it's Dutch territory or like Dutch systems in Spain, and the bank flagged that attempt to pay, so they blocked the payment. And I was like, don't block the payment. And then I had to call the bank and tell them, look, it is me trying to do this. It's not anything fishy. I'm just trying to renew my passport, this, that, and the other. And that took like half an hour because I had to speak to multiple robots and then finally a person. Well, first they wouldn't pick up. And then I tried a different number. Well, I tried 3 numbers. None of them picked up. And then I tried a different number and they did pick up, and then it was like robots for a bit, and then finally I got to speak to a guy. And he was really, really helpful. And he unblocked the card and authorized the payment for me and everything. And I was like, thank you. But yeah, everything was fine. I had breakfast technically in 2 places. So first I went to a place close to the embassy that sells matcha. And the matcha was really good. I enjoyed that. But they didn't have any food there. I thought they had food there as well. It turns out they didn't. So then I went from there to a breakfast place nearby, and they had like tasty croissants and things. So I had croissant for breakfast with stuff inside, like cream cheese and pesto and tomatoes and stuff like that. It was really good. And the girl in there was super friendly as well. And yeah, the train trip was fine. Lots of olive trees, lots and lots of olive trees, which I sent a picture of. But yeah, uneventful on the whole, I would say. I'm glad to be home though. Like, I was so tired because it's a big city, it's a lot of noise, it's a lot of not knowing where I am. Like, the experience is just tiring. I've been in Madrid a couple times. There are bits and pieces that I recognize, but not enough to be moving around freely without Google Maps. I still need Google Maps when I'm there. So yeah, I was absolutely exhausted when I got back yesterday. And, you know, it is a long day because I woke up at 7:30 so I could be at my appointment on time. And then I didn't get home, like, here until about 7 p.m. And then I went to get, like, my parents live 100 meters away, but I went to get the cat. I spoke to my parents for a bit and everything. So, yeah, then I finally came back to mine again by, like, 8 o'clock. And I was exhausted. I was like, thank God I said I wasn't going to stream. El cartel de Schweppes es una de las mayores maravillas del mundo. ¿Eh? ¿Qué cartel de Schweppes? ¿Dónde? Okay, what do I do now? Are we done? We're not done. We have another new... El de Madrid. No lo vi. Yo fui a lo justo y necesario, Erche. Fui de Atocha a mi hotel, que estaba cerca de las torres. Del hotel a las torres, porque ahí estaba la embajada. Al hotel, a Atocha. Ni siquiera volví al hotel. Fui a la embajada. Y de la embajada fui directamente a Atocha. Y sí que salí para cenar. Obviamente tenía que comer algo, ¿no? Entonces ahí también salí del hotel. O sea, el jueves por la noche. Pero tampoco gran cosa. No problema, era más ironía que otra cosa. Me lo imaginaba, pero no conozco el cartel de Schweppes. Lo siento. I wasn't paying attention for a Schweppes advertisement, to be honest with you. Those quills are very pretty. It's a unicorn! And a dodo. Dear Paul. Who is that? Why am I not going in there?
This year we have seen our students.
I did a fair amount of reading as well. I read quite a bit on the train.
Gryffindor. Allow me to finish. The loyalty of Helga Hufflepuff. The wisdom of Rowena Ravenclaw.
I like the name Rowena. I wouldn't give my child that name, but I do like the name.
And so, the winner of this year's House Cup.
Excuse me, Headmaster, if I may. One particular student's heroism during the attack on Hogwarts, not to mention the level to which they have excelled in their coursework as a new student, no less.
Definitely not naming my kid Ominous. No.
Well,
Definitely
it
don't.
seemed that it certainly merits, I'd say,
So
100.
I've started reading because there's been so much hype about it. I'm really curious. I've started reading Aquatar,
Professor Weasley.
and I've heard that the first book is the worst in the saga, and I can see why. Like, there are bits and pieces that I'm really like, okay, right. But yeah, I've started reading that, and then also I'm still reading this book. Because this one is quite dense. It's not easy reading, this one. Like, you have to actually really pay attention, and you have to think back. Because this book is... Like, without any spoilers, there's a murder. And the book is divided in 4 parts. Each part is written by a different character. And they all end up accusing someone else for the murder. Not necessarily one of the other writers of the story, but like just any other character. So when you're reading one of the characters' like versions, you're always thinking back, okay, what did the first character write about this specific situation, or what did the second character write about that? And I'm now on the 3rd character, so it's definitely not easy reading. It's really well written. Like, it's really well written. The attention to detail is amazing. But yeah, this one's definitely not easy reading. So I spent most of my time reading Aquatar. But I also read, I would say, like 100 pages of this. And it is so good. I want to continue it very soon. I've been working on this one since December, I think. But I'm only reading, like... Except for a couple of moments where I would read like 100 or 150 pages almost in one go. Most of the time I've been reading like 10 pages at a time or 1 chapter at a time. So it's been slow going, but because I really want to pay attention properly to what's going on. So, yeah. Si digo que no he visto Harry Potter, nunca me vas a dejar seguir aquí. I'm getting used to the fact that people haven't watched Harry Potter or haven't read the books. Does it disappoint me? Yes. However, I also understand it's my generation and Domination's generation. We literally grew up with Harry Potter. And, like, the slightly older than us generation. I would say between my age and 37 years old, give or take. Like, we properly grew up with Harry Potter. And anyone younger, like I'm already on the younger side. I know a lot of people younger than me are still big fans of Harry Potter, but to have actually grown up with it is a different experience. And yeah, I'm getting used to that fact. It's very disappointing because, you know, I grew up with it. I have a lot of love for this saga, regardless of what J.K. Rowling may or may not have done or said and everything. I don't want to get into any of that, but the world itself is an amazing world. The story is an amazing story. The character development is amazing. Am I a huge fan of them milking a dead cow? Not really. Like, there's a game of a prequel, there's the Beasts prequel, there's like the series that's coming, like there's all these side things that I'm not a huge fan of them doing it, but I was really curious about this game. But no, like the core saga is really well made. Whether you like it or not, it is really well made. Like whether you like J.K. Rowling or not, it is really well made. Pero no, me estoy acostumbrando a que la gente no ha leído o visto Harry Potter. ¿Te lo recomiendo? Sí. Siempre y cuando tengas en mente que o sea, empieza siendo un libro para niños con un protagonista que es un niño realmente. Los hechos todavía están adaptados a nivel de niño. Ahora, cuando llegas a los últimos libros o las últimas 2 películas, digamos, que equivalen a un libro, ahí hay un nivel emocional y... What? You got rid of posture check? Who? What? Thank you for the bits. There. Posture check. Yeah, just the last few books, they have like a maturity and a depth and everything that the first books don't have. So yeah, as an adult, if you're reading it as like a late teens or already an adult, you do need to get through the first books and understand that they were aimed at children to begin with. But you definitely see the maturity in the books. After 1 and 2, you start having clear jumps in maturity as the saga goes along. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Thank you, Batu, for the bits. Domination, don't speak Spanish. Are you saying you'll read Nietzsche but not Harry Potter? That is basically what he said, yeah. I still have to read Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I still have not read that book. I've had it in my to be read pile for 10 years. I've had that book for ages and I haven't read it yet. In my defense, my to be read pile is over 500 books, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's literally over 500 books. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done there. Also, after this one, I'm finally properly gonna read through the Princess trilogy that I already told y'all about a while back. I'm finally going to read through it properly. This is a lot easier to read. I mean, it's easier in terms of density. Emotionality, much harder. Like this trilogy is gut-wrenching. It's horrible. But yeah, I'm finally going to read through these 3. So that will be 4 books out of my to be read pile. I also acquired this book, La Historia Interminable, The Never-Ending Story. I don't know how you would translate it. I think the original was German. Yeah, the original was German. There's like the endless story or the infinite story or The never-ending story. I don't know. A friend of mine has read it. Well, two friends of mine have read it, actually, and they've both spoken very highly of it. Es increíble Zaratustra y a la vez no lo sé. I remember... So the reason why I have that book is because in Bachiller, I obviously had to study philosophy. And one of the philosophers was Nietzsche. And I remember out of all the ones we saw, Nietzsche was the one that I liked most. And one of the books that we spoke about in class was Thus Spoke Zarathustra. So when I saw it in a secondhand shop, I was like, oh, I should get that. Of course, when it costs 50 cents, you just go and get it. You don't really think about it much. So yeah, that's how I ended up with that book, but then it's just ended up in the to be read pile, because I also know that it's not going to be an easy read, even though it's really short. Maybe that should be another project for the summer. I have Jung books. I've read 1/3 of that, mostly collect dust now. I'm not sure I'd be able to make it through Jung, because there are many views, shall we say, that I don't agree with. Like, that I don't follow, shall we say. Then again, you shouldn't avoid reading things just because you don't agree with them. It's all to expand knowledge and expand your mind. But I think I would really, really struggle to get through it. Ahora empiezo con Dostoevsky. I can never pronounce that name. He's the one who wrote Crime and Punishment, right? Because I've read Crime and Punishment. That was interesting. Crime and Punishment was an interesting experience. It was also, it was a bit, like, reading Crime and Punishment was a little bit like this book in how I struggled to read it. Because, again, it's dense. It's a lot of information in very little space. So, yeah, like, you really have to pay attention, and the nuances and everything. Yeah, it was I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't an easy read. It definitely wasn't just let's go and lie on the beach and chill kind of rom-com book, you know, which I also really enjoy. There are books for every occasion, and I love that there are books for every occasion. I like my light-hearted books. I like my amazingly well-built fantasy world books. I like my crime books. Like, I love the whole spectrum of books as a general rule. The only genre I would say I avoid a little bit is historic romance, specifically, like Victorian courts, but like based on actual happening, even though it's like with a fictional twist. I don't really read that. You want to give me like a steampunk in the Victorian era, I will read that, because that is then fantasy. You want to give me like ACOTAR, where there's horses and carriages and dragons and fairies, yeah, sure. Well, I'm not sure there are dragons in ACOTAR, but then, yeah, sure. That's the fact that there's like a court and there's balls and everything, I don't mind. But for some reason, like actual real life, sort of based on actual happenings type of historic romance books, I can't get through. I also struggle to get through standard romance books, like also modern day ones, contemporary romance. I struggle to get through them as well. I absolutely love fantasy romance books. Love fantasy romance books. That's probably the genre that I read most of. And like fantasy or paranormal romance books are what I read most of by a huge margin. And despite that, I still just struggle to get through a normal romance book. Like, just a normal... I don't know. She works editing books and he works as an engineer, and they casually bump into each other at the supermarket because one of them drops something and the other one picks it up, kind of tropes. Can't get through them. Cannot. Now, you give me werewolves, give me vampires, give me demons, give me any of that stuff, any of it, I'm your girl. I absolutely love it. And I love the romantic twist to it. But in just standard IRL, actual realistic stuff, I'm just like, nah. I really struggle. Like, I'm reading it and I'm going, oh god, the cringe, the cringe, the cringe. But then you have like an enemies to lovers trope with vampires in it, and I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. But yeah. Right, I prefer stuff I don't fully agree with, more to chew on, but he's wacky. I prefer listening to someone interpret Young for me. Probably, yeah. I would say I'm more interested in knowing, even though I don't agree with it, I would be able to listen to someone explain how, what, when, where of Young, more than actually read his work myself. And I have the exact same thing with Freud. Like, I don't like Freud. I don't. I am never going to read his works. However, I don't mind someone explaining to me how he works. And I can not agree with it. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, it's, you know? Are you into those books where the woman falls in love with the wolf man or whatever? If you're talking werewolves and stuff, yeah, like shapeshifters, full moon, howl, kind of things. See, I'm from the generation that grew up with Twilight. So because of the Twilight boom, after that we got a whole bunch of like fantasy paranormal romance books. A lot of it was vampires and werewolves, of course. And then in a smaller number there was the demons. But yeah, I remember there's a trilogy that I absolutely loved as a teenager. I think they were called Shiver, Linger, and Forever. Maybe? And that was like a werewolf romance. I really enjoyed that one. Like, I would probably reread it now. Obviously, it would be a bit too teenagery for me now, but I would reread it. And I reread those books as a teenager probably upwards of 10 times. Because also at that point, I would read a book a day. Literally, a book a day. I would read hundreds of books per year. I was always in debt with my parents. I would never ever have money because I would spend it all on books, and I was always in debt with them because then I would convince them to buy me a book and they'd be like, okay, we'll get you this book, but you're not allowed to buy any more books until you've paid this one off. So then I would be like, oh my god, I need another book, and I'd have to go like 2 weeks without buying a book so that I could pay them back. I was obsessed with books. It was literally a book a day. So yeah, I remember that trilogy I really liked, and she had what was her name? Maggie something was the author, and she had another series of books that she wrote, but I never completed that series because that's when I was already starting to grow out of the more teenagery books. These credits are going on forever. Jesus Christ. Thank you to everyone and great job working on the game and all that. You definitely need a new writer though. Okay. ¿Qué pasa? Nada. No me digas que te vas. No, estamos hablando de libros. yeah, so she had another saga. I think the first one in that saga was Blackbird, maybe? And that was also really, really good. So she was like one of my favorites. What other ones? I did really enjoy Twilight when I first read it. I read Twilight a couple of times. And I did genuinely really enjoy them. Now, I think because when the films came out, it got so overhyped, I got bored of it. But the books themselves are pretty good. What other authors did I used to read a lot? Hold on. Tony's been insulting me. Paranormal Romance, are we making love with a ghost? That's another saga, actually, or series, by Meg Cabot. I don't know how you pronounce her surname. I have probably every single Meg Cabot book until 2000... What are we now? 2026? Probably until 2014 or so. I have every single one of her books. And one of the series that she wrote was this really easy to read series about a girl who moves to I don't know what town. And she's like 16 or something. And she can see ghosts. And there's a ghost living in, or dying? Deathing? In her new bedroom. And yeah, like it's a little bit like mystery-esque. I remember I read all of those books multiple times. And then from Meg Cabot I read almost all of her standalone books as well. There was one, Jinx. Jinx I really enjoyed. And that was like a witchy one, a magic-y one. Oh, and then there was a magic saga. I can't remember the names. I remember the covers, but I can't remember the names. But I really enjoyed that author as well. I was going to say Poison Diaries, but Poison Diaries is like this short story. It's maybe 150 pages or so. It's a really depressing, really sad story. That's not... But it was something... Poison something was the first one. And that author had, I think, like three series, and they were related to each other, so they were all each other's spin-offs. And okay, yeah, she started with one, but it's not like, oh, that's the main one and you have to read it to understand the others. No. The series themselves could be read completely separately, but there was a lot of character crossovers between them. Like, the characters from one of them would be secondary characters in another one, kind of thing. But you didn't need to read the three series in a specific order to understand or anything like that. I can't remember what that first one was called. It was Poison something. That was really good, and I have about 12 of her books as well. Erche, yo me crié entre historias de caballeros y princesas y creo que gran parte de mis valores se basan en los de los caballeros que imaginaba de pequeño. ¡El Quijote! Yeah, that's... perdón, cada vez te respondo en inglés. No sé si yo me crié tanto entre caballeros y princesas, pero... El concepto está ahí, pero la forma es distinta. Batu, me cuesta ver los géneros de punk. Muy pocas cosas he podido ver. Dices de steampunk y cyberpunk y eso. Domination, you're fluent in Spanish today. Yo la última vez que usé un libro fue para estabilizar mi mesa. Muy útiles los libros, la verdad. Oh my god. ¿Cómo sabe que la insulté? Yo qué sé. No mires ahora de Lauren Child, ¿qué? No sé de qué va el libro, pero sé que memoricé ese libro para una exposición en la secundaria y primaria. Y tengo el ritmo aprendido. Algún día le haré una canción. Igual que la canción esta de... el ciclo de Krebs. Hay un rap del ciclo de Krebs. Y es genial. Eso me sabía, porque como estudié biología en bachiller, ya estábamos en el nivel del ciclo de Krebs. Y me aprendí la canción entera con tal de, en selectividad, poder explicar el ciclo de Krebs si me lo preguntaban. Como tienes acento británico, hoy somos enemigos ya que Panamá juega contra Inglaterra. Entiendo que Países Bajos y Netherlands son completamente distintos a Britain, pero hay que molestar. Ah, no, pero yo soy medio británica. Batu. Mi padre es holandés y mi madre es inglesa, así que... But no, I hope Panama wins. More than England. Me lo aprendí el maldito rap para la prueba de acceso a la uni. Sí, yo para selectividad. Puñetero ciclo de Krebs. Ya no me acuerdo. Seguro que si pongo la canción, seguro que me vuelvo a acordar. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit done with these credits. I need to look up the name of that, I need to look up the name of that poison. Is it called Poison Magic, maybe? It might have been called Poison Magic. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're done with the game, I think. We might just do chatting for a bit now that we're talking about books. Because the only thing I'm missing is 6 conjurations. And I'm not sure I can be bothered, to be honest with you. Vendor, quests, challenges, or exploration. See, there's so many of them. Okay. Y'all choose. Should we find the exploration conjurations, or should we do just chatting about books? So time for Dream Drop Distance, obviously. Let's ruin that good mood you're in. Fair play, Domination. We can give it a go. I can try and do the fight one time. Thing is, I'm worried I'm going to get caught up. Somos enemigos hoy entonces, ya que nos van a golear. Pensaba que habías terminado el juego por los créditos. Sí, he terminado el juego. Either full commit or don't. Yeah, no, we're not full committing today. We'll do Dream Drop Distance on Tuesday. I promised my mum I'd watch the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders thing on Monday because I haven't watched it with her since last Monday. And Batu, I like genuinely, I hope Panama wins. I don't care about football. I don't care who wins. But if I have to choose between England and Panama, then I would say Panama, just because. Not that England are not a good team. I understand that they are, you know, it's a football nation and everything. But I also like rooting for the underdog, and it's to do with my English family, so the view I have of England is very, very tainted by the view I have of my English family. So I don't really... When it's a choice between England and a Spanish-speaking country or Spanish-speaking culture or something, I always choose the Spanish-speaking over the English. Because I love my view of Spanish or Hispanic culture more than I love my view of British culture, shall we say. Which is sad. Mostly it's sad because it's sad for my mum. Because I know she wishes it weren't that way, and I never say that in front of her. Of course, I never. It's still one of my countries, and I do love it in the sense that England is a beautiful country, like countryside wise. It's beautiful, and England has a lot of good things, and England has been very historically relevant in some ways for the wrong reasons, but what country hasn't been relevant for the wrong reasons also? That doesn't make it right, but just understand me, okay? And we're gonna end the game. We're gonna do just chatting. But also the only thing I know about English people, basically, is what I know of my family. And my mum's best friend and stuff, which I know are the exceptions and everything, and a few, like, I have a lot of exceptions, but despite that, I still don't manage to change my view of people who live in England. People who live outside of England, I can deal with better, but for some reason, like the view I have of people that actually live in England, aside from my best friend, is very conditioned by my opinion of my English family. So yeah, when it comes to being patriotic, I'm more likely to be patriotic to a Hispanic country than a English speaking country, and that includes the US as well, and Canada and Australia. I'm more likely to support Argentina over Canada, for example, or Brazil over, and I know it's not Spanish, it's Portuguese, but it's still Hispanic. I'm more likely to support Brazil over New Zealand, or I'm more likely to support Colombia over, I don't know, probably also Holland, to be honest. Like when it comes to that kind of thing, I'm definitely more on the Hispanic spectrum. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Spain is my home. Spain is my home, and I've always had really good South American friends. Some of my closest friends have always been South Americans. Um, so Venezuelans, Colombians, Argentinians, Mexicans, which I know is Central America, but still. So yeah, if I have to be patriotic, which I'm not, but if I have to be, it's more likely to be towards Spanish/Hispanic countries than non-Hispanic countries. The Big Underdog Story is a small island country of Cabo Verde, which has advanced to the knockout round. Yeah, I heard about that. Hold on, I'm just changing the stream thing. Pato, la verdad no sigo mucho el mundial. Me enteré hoy que jugaba Panamá. Los deportes en general se encuentran muy manipulados por las casas de apuestas. Yes, of course. I don't follow any sports aside from MotoGP. It's the only sport that I properly follow. So, yeah. My posture's going bad. Oh, you did a fit check. Hold on. We must move the chair. They hit me with an advert. Adopt our language. Okay. Fit check. This is today's fit. Let me turn the light on. You can't see. There we go. Fit check. This is the fit today. Crochet thing that I made myself and shorts. That's all we have. Well, and flip flops. And that's the back. So Population of 500k. I know that is smaller than the city of Malaga, which is insane to me. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, wow. Anyway, let me go find that book. Like, I need to know what book that was. New window, please. Right. Is it this one? Ow. My eyes. This is very bright. No, it's not poison magic. I'm trying to think. Poison Diaries. I can't even remember the author, which is insane considering how many of her books I have. I have like 20 of her books. In the meantime, I also read a lot of oh, what's her name? Cassandra Clare, I think her name is. And they made a series of it on Netflix. I think the series flopped tremendously, and I think they made a film as well. Shadow Bones or something like that. Cena terminada. Yay! Have you had cake? Like of the Cassandra Clare books, City of Bones, that was what it was. Like the City of Bones series. I read up until book I think I read until book 6 and then I got tired of it. Not because I grew out of it. I was still very much in that kind of like reading maturity. But I got tired of the main character. She just started to annoy me a lot, and the plot was annoying me as well. I seem to remember like the plot became tedious for me. It was just like, okay, can we be done now? Like, however, she had a spin-off trilogy that was amazing. It was really good, and it was that good. Like the City of Bones series would have been that good if it had finished earlier. And it was Clockwork Angel, and it was like a prequel a prequel to everything that happened in the City of Bones saga. And that trilogy was so well written. That was insanely good. I still need to. Mace me prometió cantico y velita, no veo nada de eso. No, no, no. Yo te dije que compraras una tarta, ¿vale? Velitas no me quedan, justo hoy miré y no me quedan. Y cantico, pues sí, podemos cantar. But only in English, I don't know. Do I know it in Spanish? Yeah, I do know it in Spanish. Oh, what was that? Poison Study, that's what it was. Hold on. Maria V. Snyder, that's it. Poison Study. That was the first book. Yes. The Study series. That's what it was. It was so, so good. I enjoyed that series so much with the spin-offs. It was really well written. It was Hello. Hello. Hi. What you doing? Meow. Big meow. No. She needs a treat because Nicholas redeemed a treat. And I don't know if Nicholas is still here, but he gets a treat from Nicholas. Suits, you get a treat from Nicholas. Are you poking your tongue out at me? You are. Here you go. Good job, Stoots. Yeah, Poison Study Saga. That was so good. Compré un postre de banana split. Very nice. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Hey, Suits, yay! You go say hello to Tony. Say, hello, Tony. Happy birthday. And goodbye. Hello. Yes, hello. You want to come up here? Come on. Come on, Suits. Come on. Hey. Hey. Are you going to go back outside again? Yeah, anyway, the Maria V. Snyder books, they were really good. I didn't buy every single one of her books because again, I ended up growing out of them. But I definitely have a lot of her books. Then there's it's not a Poison Study has an element of romance, but it's not the main thing. But there's a duology. Is it a duology? Or is it a series? It's not even, the word isn't even duology, it's duo. I have two of the books. I don't know if it continued after. And it's a very, very gory. This is already in like the adult category. It's a very gory vampire series. Let's call it a series. And it's called. The author is Thomas Emson, I think. Suti quería sus 2 segundos de fama. Suti did not want her 2 seconds of fame at the cost of being picked up. She wants her fame without the picking up part. Is it Thomas Emson? I think it's Thomas Emson. Yes. And Scarlet with a K. So it's Skarlet. That was released in 2009 already. Okay, I may or may not have read books like above my age group. That book is so good, and it's followed up by Prey, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, for like a vampire horror story, it's so good. And it's set in modern day London, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember very well. It's been years since I last read it. That was so good. Sorry, but I need to go to sleep. I'm tired. Descansa, Erche. Nos vemos otro día. Mañana, de hecho, mañana hay Minecraft a la hora de siempre. Y está en el horario de mi canal, en schedule, ahí sale el horario oficial. Que esta semana no va a tener cambios, por cierto. Bye bye, sleep well, Erche. Descansa. Vale. The cat has left. But yeah, Scarlet was such a good book, or is such a good book. And my books aren't organized alphabetically. My books are organized by favoritism, basically. So first they're sorted by age group. So like, okay, the books that I read when I was really a child, the books that I read as like a youngish teenager, more in like the Shiva, Maggie, whatever her name was, kind of category. And then more like late teens and then adult onwards. Thing is, the late teens and the adult was very much blurred lines because, like I said, I was always reading above my actual age, and it depended on like what I felt like reading. I would tend more towards like the younger side or more towards the older side. But anyway, so first is the general notion is by age. So I have one bookcase full of my childhood books, like really child. Then I have a space next to my bed in my parents' house. It's like a crawl space, so you can't really do anything with that space anyway. And I was like, well, I might as well put books there. So the ones furthest away and that are hardest to reach are like my early teen years. But as you get closer, or like the ones at the front, because they're also stacked in 2 rows because there's so many books. I have over 3,000 books, not counting my to be read pile, which is another 500. So there's 2 rows of books and multiple layers. So it's like the closer it gets to the bed, within being still at the end, and the higher up or the easier access it is, so higher up and further to the front, is like more favorite. And then even closer to the bed from there is then like the more adult books. So there I have like a lot of my crime novels, like standalone crime novels or mystery novels, or like Scarlet, for example, is like in that category, right up against my bed. It's the closest 2 books to my bed are Scarlet and Prey. So they are right up against my bed and then stacked at the top. Um and then I have 2 boxes under my bed that slide out, with a lot of effort because they are very heavy. One of them is all of my absolute favorite authors. My favorite author specifically, I have all of her books, every single one up until 2000 and let's say 2019, 2020. I have every single book that she published, both the young adult books and the adult books, that because she does both, like both genres. I have every single one, and the ones I don't have, it's because they're very difficult to find in secondhand shops. So I need to buy them new, and I can't find them in Spanish bookshops in English. So I need to actually order them from Amazon or something, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Um, but yeah, I have all of her books, which even up to the point that I have them is maybe 30 books, 40 books. And I have read, so my favorite series of hers, the first book in that series and the second one, because I got them about the same time, I've read over 40 times. Like literally over 40 times, because that series has maybe 15 or 16 books in the series. Every time one of them would come out, I would reread the whole story, the whole series from beginning to end, like until the newest book. And it's also my comfort series. So when I don't know what I want to read and I need something familiar, something that's easy to read, it's familiar, I enjoy it, and like it switches my brain off and takes me away. That's the series that I go to. So that's the other 20 something reads. And again, because I'm able to read a book a day, like those books, I can read, they're about like your typical 350-page books, give or take, and they're easy reading. I can read that in 5 hours, no problem. So yeah, it's literally a book a day. So that's how you get to reading the first 2 books or 3 books in that series over 40 times. And the newest books in that series, the ones that I do have, because I'm missing the last 3, I think. But the last one that I do have, even that one I've read over 10 times. Easy. So yeah. Anyway, so those kind of books, they're in one box under my bed, and that box is all my favorite author, my second favorite author, my third favorite author, and they are all fantasy books. And then the other box is my favorite crime authors. So there I have like Joe Nesbo, for example. They've just made a series of one of his books, the sixth book in his first series. They've made a Netflix series of it, which is really good actually. Really, really well made. So I have all of his books in there. Again, up until I stopped buying books, basically. I stopped buying them because I was moving around. I didn't read as much anymore. I've spent many years not reading because I was reading so much for uni and everything. I didn't feel like reading anymore, and I was really upset about that. And then because my to be read pile kept growing and growing and growing from books that my mum would give me, I couldn't justify buying these other books. So yeah, I don't have every single one of his books, but I have a lot of them. I'd say like 12 of his books or so, 13. So all of his are in there, and in there I also have Black Sad, which is a comic. I have what other authors are in there? I have The Goldfinch is in there, and A Little Friend by Donna Tartt. It's like it's my mix and match of absolutely favorite books, but most of them are crime thrillers. I've also just remembered in my fantasy box, I've also included Dracula, Alice in Wonderland, 2 copies, 3 copies. Three? Yeah, I have 3 copies of Alice in Wonderland for some reason. I know why. um and I'm missing Frankenstein there. For some reason I don't have a copy of Frankenstein. I've read it, but I don't have my own copy. So I do need to get that still. Then my to be read pile is next to my bed. So not the crawl space, but like up against the wall, like on the other side of my bedside table. And that's also organized. That one's organized by genre. So I have a vertical pile almost up to the ceiling. I have a vertical pile. 3 of them, I think, are crime because I get most of those books from my mum. My parents, they both read a lot. Everyone in my family reads a lot. My grandparents, my parents, my brother, myself. We've all read a lot. And I basically inherit their books. My mum doesn't keep books, but any book that she reads that she thinks I would like, she gives to me. And she reads probably a book a week, a book every 2 weeks or so. So yeah, she keeps, and the genre that she reads most is either romance, which she knows that I don't really read, so she doesn't bother, or crime, which she does give me. So I have like 3 stacks of crime books. So first organized by genre and then by author, and book size as well. So the bigger ones are at the bottom for more stability. Then I have like a true crime, true story, and like psychology kind of pile. Yeah, it's got true crime, and then psychology related books like I don't know, emotional intelligence or um, uh, the diary of some serial killer or like things like that. Um, Interview transcripts with criminals of different types or biographies of criminals, that kind of thing. Um, then I have my Stephen King pile. I have a whole pile that's Stephen King. I have, which I get from my dad. My mum doesn't really read Stephen King, but my dad does. It's used to be his favorite author. I don't know if it still is. I have another pile that is almost exclusively. I don't know how to pronounce her surname. Kathy Reichs. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The author of Bones. Um, I have a lot of her books, and I've actually read most of them, but I've kept them in the to be read pile because I haven't finished the whole saga and I don't know where I'm going to put them because I'm actually running out of space, and my crawl space is basically full up. Not many more books fit there, and my boxes under my bed are sacred ground. Only the absolute best books I've ever read go in those two boxes, and they are also full up. So yeah. So I have another pile that's almost exclusively Kathy Reichs. Then I have a pile that's like just random books, like standalone vampire book or a standalone something. I also have a fantasy pile, which is where I have Game of Thrones. I had The Witcher. The Witcher is I'm now on the last one. Am I on the last one? No. I've still got two more. But yeah, that was Game of Thrones, The Witcher, and Lord of the Rings are in that pile. So I've got like a fantasy pile. I think The Hobbit is in there as well. I have a few Dan Brown books, so I have like another pile of whatever that genre would be. So yeah, I have everything. None of it is alphabetical or alphabetized, and all of it makes sense, at least to me. So yeah, but yeah, definitely if y'all want a non-romance, like gory horror type book, Scarlet is the book to go to. How many books do you think you own? I said that not a long time ago. Well, hold on, let me just reply to Tony. Me dolía un montón a queso, ya vi donde Meiskie tiene las patas. Las patas arriba. How many books do I think I own? So books that I've read, which is The Crawl Space, a bookshelf, and the two boxes under my bed. There are over 3,000 books last time I counted. And my to be read pile is over 500 books. And then I have a whole bunch of books downloaded as well, which I also need to buy the physical copies of. I don't like reading non-physical books. I do because that's cheaper. Tootie, what are you doing? Oh, okay. I thought she brought some kind of animal in, but no, it's a toy. I was like, I'm very glad I have my legs up high. Yeah, so like ebooks are cheaper. So for example, my favorite author, I'm missing the physical copies of the last few books that she's published, but I have read them. But I want them as a physical copy because I like having physical copies. So from that list, shall we say, the ones that I've read as an ebook and I want the physical copy, you can add another 200-300 books to the already read pile. Probably. I'd say more leaning more towards the 300 mark. Definitely. That's a lot of books. I love reading. I absolutely love reading. That's a lot. Dare I say too many? Never enough. I was talking about it with my mum a couple weeks back. The dream I've had ever since I was a child for my own house is to have a library. I don't care if that's my living room or lounge, as we call it in the UK. I don't care if that's my lounge and the telly is on one wall and then behind the sofa is like these big bookshelves, but I need a room in my house that is dedicated to books or that works around books. It can be my office, it can be like with my, with this whole setup in it as well. I don't mind if it's like if there's like an overlap, but the room has to work around the books. The books have to be placed in a specific system that I like, and all the furniture, all the decor, everything works around my books. And your standard little bedroom is not big enough. It's not. Because, like I said, my crawl space is 2 rows deep. So the second row, like up against the wall, you can't reach. You have to remove the first row to reach the second row. And the first row has 3 layers, I think. And the second row has 4 layers. So if you want a book from the bottom of the second row, you have to remove the 3 layers of the first row and then dig out, like, that's that no. So yeah, I've always, ever since I was a child, I've always said I will have a library at some point in my life. Now that I'm an adult and I actually know what these things cost, I've got no idea how I'm ever going to do it. I've got no idea. Like, there is no way I can ever have a house big enough to have a room big enough just for my books. But I'm gonna try. I'm going to try. And like my parents, they used to keep their books. We always had a couple of bookshelves in the dining room. And then in the lounge we had like shelves up high, around the edge of the, like around, like on every wall, but up high so they weren't in the way, and they were full of books. And in the dining room as well, up high, like not only the 2 big bookcases, but also one shelf around the whole room, and they were full of books. But my mum eventually got rid of basically all of them because of the dust that they collect. And she'd had enough of it. But I can't do it. I can't get rid of my books. Like, I have my childhood books from when I was 3 years old. I can't get rid of them. And I wasn't even that much of a reader until I turned about 8. When I turned 8, that's when I started reading a lot. That's when I went into my reading a book a day for years, until I was 18, I would say, until I started uni. I was book obsessed. It's all I would do all day. I would have my headphones in, I would sit in my room and I would read, or I would sit out on a bale of hay because we used to have horses. I'd go and sit out on the bales of hay, because it was nice and shady, and I would read. I would sit by the swimming pool, I would read. I would go to the beach, I would read. I would be on the bus to school, I would be reading. I would finish my tasks in class, I would get my book out and read. Like, I would always have a book with me everywhere I went. I'd be walking down the street in the city. Like, if we went out to the city for whatever reason, we would be walking down the street and I would be reading while I was walking. Like, I was so obsessed. El librero no es caro, lo caro es si quieres libros de ediciones raras o limitadas. Lo que es caro o cara es una casa lo suficientemente grande para unos 4.000 libros. Sin que los libros se pisen. I never enjoyed reading, even as a child. My parents told me I could choose not to read books if I aced my reading test scores in school. Ace them, never look back. Yeah, that's fair. Reading is not for everyone. And for me, like I said, up until I was 8, I wasn't much of a reader at all. Like, my brother read, my parents both read, but I was like, meh. I didn't particularly enjoy reading. And then one day my mum brought home, they made a film of it. Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, is that what it was called? And which is like a comedy. It's a whole series. So there's only one film which is based on the first book, but it's like a series of 12 books, and it's about this teenage girl. It starts as when she's a young teenager, I think 14 or something, up until she's 18. And it's basically all her mishaps. It's her diary. So it's written as if they were diary entries, and it was so funny. And the first few books in that series are 200 pages at most. And yeah, maybe I was a bit young to read that, but like, because she was already like 13, 14, and I read them when I was 8. But my mum brought back that book for me, and I started reading it, just because, and I instantly got hooked, obsessed, absolutely obsessed. And from then on, I just never looked back. Like, books were my life. I just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It was insane. Like literally that one book just changed everything for me. Yeah, that was quite insane. La casa es barata. No. La casa no es barata. Yo para comprarme una casa tengo que ahorrar, ¿qué? ¿20.000 euros? ¿30.000 euros? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo lo hago? I can't. Uh, Domination. I probably own 20 books, and the last one I read was about stats and probabilities, never fiction. That's interesting. But yeah, no, reading definitely isn't for everyone. Definitely not. Oh, if we add books that I've shared with my brother, like, because he used to read a lot as well, still does. But books that say he bought with his money, so they are his books, but that I've also read because occasionally we would swap. I'd say there's like another 50 books or so to add to the list because I read all of the Cherub series, all of the what was the name? The protagonist was called Max. She and the others they were teenagers. They'd grown up in a lab and they had wings. And the author is a super famous author, James Patterson, maybe. Yeah, James Patterson. I can't remember the name of the saga, but my brother had that saga and then or that series, and I read them from him. And a few like the Aragon series, a few other things here and there. So you can add another 50 books to my list from the ones that I shared with him. But yeah, anyway, like I was not a reader until that specific book came along. That my mum got for me, that comedy book. If it hadn't been for that, I don't know if I ever would have gotten into reading. And I know a lot of people to this day who don't particularly enjoy reading, and that's fine. Like, we all have our thing. And I got particularly obsessed. It's not normal to read a book a day. Let me put it that way. Like, that is not normal behavior at any age. Like, the level of obsession I had with books was not normal. I'm not sure it was particularly healthy. Because I was reading all the time, like all the time, non-stop. It got to the point my mum had to make me hand in whatever book I was reading. She would make me hand it in at bedtime, and she would have to hide it in the house somewhere, because if not, I would sneak out of bed and I would go and find, like, if I knew where the hiding spot was, I would go and find the book, take it back to bed with me, finish reading it, and then put it back in the hiding spot. And I would stay up. Like, I would lose hours of sleep because I was reading and or trying to read, or like waiting for my parents to go to bed so that I could go and sneak out and find the book. So I'm not sure any of that is healthy. Like, my reading habits nowadays are probably healthier than they were, but it was definitely like absolute obsession for a while. I'm not sure that's a good thing. But yeah, normal people read at a more average pace and with less obsession. And yeah, even then, like, reading's not for everyone. It doesn't have to be either. I think you can be intellectually well rounded without having to read loads and loads and loads of books. Has it helped me in particular in a lot of ways? Yeah, it has. I've learned a lot about emotional regulation, for example. I've learned a lot about what my values are in life, and what kind of person I want to be through my books. But there are a million ways to discover those things about yourself and like to train your mind and to be intellectual. Like, you don't necessarily need books for that. Batu. Lo que sí te recomiendo hacer, el librero de madera real tratada, ya que puede dañar los libros por humedad, insectos, hongos, etc. No, sí, obviamente. Pero es que yo no necesito un librero. Batu, tengo 4.000 libros en total, incluyendo los que todavía no me he comprado, pero que sí he leído. Y los que tengo en mi cuarto sin leer, que son más de 500, es que tengo 4.000 libros. Entonces no es un librero, no, es una biblioteca. O sea, yo necesito una habitación en mi casa, una habitación específica en mi casa exclusivamente para libros. Y esa habitación no puede ser pequeña porque son 4.000 libros. Entonces, el asunto es el espacio. Luego ya, que si libreros, que si estanterías, que si... Todo eso luego ya se verá, pero sí va a ser todo de madera. De madera tratada. Pero necesito el espacio. Primero necesito una habitación que tenga el espacio necesario, porque si no, ¿dónde voy a meter yo los 4.000 libros? Domination. It makes me think I'm worse at creating a little universe in my head than people like you. Again, not necessarily. I even know people who are authors, but they don't read. They are very good authors, but they don't read much. Maybe 1-2 books a year. At most. But they are authors. And worse at creating a little universe, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, I don't think that everyone who reads a lot can make a good universe. Like, I can't make the Hogwarts universe or the Harry Potter universe. I can't make that. I can imagine it when I'm reading it. Yes, I'm very good at world building with like the cues. But I would not, and I like to write. It's a hobby that comes and goes in my life, but I do like to write, and I never world build. I'm not capable of, as much as I try to, I can't make whole fantasy worlds. I can't make a world consistent enough for a full-length story. Like, I've tried writing full-length stories. My issue isn't the dialogue or what happens with the characters. My issue is the world building. So reading a lot doesn't necessarily guarantee that capability. Obviously, yes, my imagination is very well trained. In other ways, like character building, I can do that very well. So that has helped in that way. But again, it's the same as like with my values or my emotional regulation or everything. Yeah, okay, I've learned that through books, or my imagination, I've built that through books. But I think there are many, many ways in life to do that. And you, for example, probably have a lot of flexibility and a lot of capability to see things from different perspectives because of chess. Chess forces you to think about things in a different way. The way a story might make me think about things in a different way and see different perspectives. And so all of these things are things that can be trained, and perfilado is the word we use in Spanish, from multiple places. So you might be able to create a little universe in your head the same as the next person. Obviously, I don't know you well enough to say, oh yeah, you're great at building little worlds or you're terrible at building little worlds. I've got no idea. But I don't think you necessarily have to feel that way just because you don't read as much as... Definitely not as much as I do, but most people don't read as much as I have in my life. Like, I did a lifetime of reading in 1 year as a teenager, and I've done that for over a decade. So, and even since I stopped reading so much, I've read hundreds of books. So, we went from hundreds of books a year to hundreds of books over a few years. But yeah, no. Even like your average Joe reader, like people with more normal reading habits, you don't need to be comparing yourself to them. With the world creating just because they read and you don't. I don't think that's very fair. Alex, Johnny, me leo las medicaciones que tienen un símbolo de calavera roja. Solo dan malas noticias. A ver, sí, si lees solo eso, sí. Domination. 3rd to 5th grade, me loved A Series of Unfortunate Events. I have not read that. I've heard of it, but I've never read it. Tony, ella lo que necesita es no quejarse tanto. Mace haciendo trata de maderas. ¿Qué pasa con tratar madera? I'm confused. And I can complain as much as I like. Excuse you, Tony. Also, did I reply to your message about the banana split? I'm jealous that you had banana split. Banana split is tasty. Do you have any interest in being an author? Yes, I do. It would be one of my dream jobs. I started writing or attempting to write when I was about 12 years old. And it's been on and off since then. I've made multiple attempts at full length books, and it just never happens because of what I said about the world building. I can't build a world that's consistent enough. So yeah, I've never been able to write anything full length because of that. However, I have hundreds of short stories, like 4, 5, 6 page stories. Most of them would be averaging that length. Some of them are like 20 pages, some of them are 40 pages, but in general, like they're proper short stories, just a few pages. And I have hundreds of them. I've actually put some of them together as like collections of short stories. I don't know why, just because. Not just because, also because one of them I gave to my ex when we were still together. Because he always encouraged me to write a lot. So that was my way of saying thank you to him. But I ended up doing that again a couple more times, and all in all, I have like 3 collections of short stories, 3 books of short stories that are over 300 pages each. So yeah, I have a lot of short stories that I've written over the years, and especially there were 2 while I was studying psychology. There were like 2-3 years when I wrote basically every day. I've barely written in the last year or so, and in the last 2 years, it's like 2 years ago ish, it started going down a lot, and in the last year, I've barely written anything. I do have my notepad. I always have it because I do write when I have very strong emotions. It helps me organize my brain. Um, and I have like 4 or 5 notebooks like this full because I prefer writing by hand. But I've also written a lot in my notes on my phone because I'm like on public transport or something. And I've also written a lot on my computer because I type faster than I write with by hand, and sometimes my hands can't keep up with what I want to write in my brain, so I need to be able to write faster. Gracias, Alex. Ahora cuando ella entre se lo doy, ¿vale? Está fuera ahora mismo. So yeah, I always have this. I haven't touched this for about a year now, I would say. I don't know if I have this dated. No. I've probably written maybe twice in the last year, basically. But like only a few pages. So this notepad is taking a long, long, long time to finish because it started in 2023 and I have that much left, just a few pages left for it to be full, and I have multiple other notepads that are already full. And I used them when I was writing daily. They would always be in my handbag with a pen. But yeah, I don't carry them around anymore because I don't write anymore the way I used to. But yeah, I do like always having it available. And yeah, it's been like that on and off since I was about 12 years old. I would love, love, love to be able to write full length books and publish them and live off that. I just haven't figured out how yet. I haven't figured out how to make those full length stories because those are the successful ones. Collections of short stories are generally not very like super short stories. They're not generally very successful. It wouldn't be enough for me to live off of. So I'd still always need to have a job alongside it. And then that means I'm tired, and when I'm tired, my brain doesn't function well enough to write, and it's this whole cycle, you know? But yeah, it comes and goes, and maybe eventually, you know, I've practiced my writing a lot over the years. Even if it comes and goes, I've practiced it a lot, I've honed it a lot. My writing is way better now than it was back in the day. My ability to play with symbolisms especially is much better. And you know, if I keep coming back to it, like coming and going the way I have been for a few years, maybe eventually I will learn to build worlds coherent enough, well enough to be able to follow a full-length story in a world, even the real world. If anything, I find the real world harder to create because the rules are already in place than a fantasy world. A lot of what I write is very fantasy-esque, because there I can make a world with my own rules. But of course, those rules need to be consistent. And when you're writing something in the real world, the rules have to be consistent with the real world. So yeah, I struggle with that part especially. Batu, 4K de libros ya es un problema si no tienes un cuarto especial solo para ellos. Por eso digo, el librero en sí es lo de menos. Necesito la biblioteca. Yeah, this reminds me of how music is for me. Probably made 100 plus half-baked songs with my friends or band. Yeah, that's basically it. That'd be the equivalent. Treat Suti, Cuando Entre, Hydrate, already did that. And Alex, add a song, la de Entre Primos. No sé cuál es. Dame el grupo y la canción específica. But yeah, definitely, if y'all ever need reading recs, I'm your girl. I've read every genre, even the ones that I don't like very much, like historic romance. Like, obviously, I've read some stuff. I need to have read it to know that I don't like it. But if you ever need recommendations from any genre, I'm your girl. Like, I know some of the most obscure books ever. It's insane. Like, I have a book from 1943 called The Sexual Criminal. Like, homosexuality is a chapter in that book, and it is the most obscure book ever. I don't think there are many copies of it in the world, and somehow I have that book. And it's fascinating, actually. It's very interesting to see the difference in perspective around sexual crimes back in the 40s versus now. This is set in the US, with real cases and the transcripts of the interviews with the criminals and stuff. Very, very interesting because they profile the criminal and they use the I can't remember who created it, but they use the like triple body shape thing to classify them. Like the more triangular body shape, the more rounded body shape, and the more rectangular body shape. Like, oh yes, this person is the asténico is the word in Spanish, like the rectangular one, like the asténico criminal, and therefore behaves in this and this manner. And I'm sitting there reading it going, what are you going on about? So yeah, it's an interesting read. It's definitely an interesting read. But yeah, I have a lot of really mainstream books, but also a lot of obscure things, because of course you end up in a rabbit hole. I have a book that is a collection of like the first attempts at writing vampire stories, and it includes the first rough draft of the first chapter of Dracula that Bram Stoker did, and it's nothing like the actual first chapter of Dracula, of which I have 2 copies, as a matter of fact. I like Dracula. And yeah, it's nothing like the actual first chapter that he ended up using, but it's so interesting to have these drafts of vampire stories, or these samples of drafts of vampire stories all together in one collection, because as you're reading through them, like, you can compare them. And despite these authors not knowing each other and being from different cultures, different parts of the world, the similarities are there, and the differences are very interesting. Like, okay, you have this difference, and why is that different? So that was really interesting to see, and the fact that a lot of these stories were written around the same time period, despite them being from different parts of the world and different cultures and everything, it seems very interesting to me. Obviously, there are earlier accounts, but of actual published books, they happened around the same time. So that's interesting. What other obscure books do I have? I have a book on the history of Malaga. I don't know how obscure that one is though. I can imagine it's not for sale in the US, put it that way. Or outside of Spain, probably. Yeah, I don't know, you just sort of end up in a rabbit hole and you start just finding these things. It's very interesting. I love reading. I love books, in case y'all haven't noticed. But yeah, this one would definitely recommend. Scarlet with a K, I would definitely recommend. One of my favorite books of all time is The Goldfinch. Definitely would recommend, by Donna Tartt. It has a film for Domination. If Domination wants to watch the film, it's a decent film. Yeah, the one I was gonna say is Angelology. Angelology by Danielle Trussoni. It was followed up with Angelopolis like 10-15 years later. The Angelology is... I've read the book 5 times exactly, and I have a very interesting relationship with that book. The concept of it is very interesting. It's not necessarily the best written book ever. It's not necessarily like Shakespearean, this will go down in history kind of book. But there's just something about that book that to me is so clever in how it's written. And the concept of it is so interesting. It's really good. And like my favorite series of books, my favorite author, like absolute favorite, undisputable favorite author, they're easy reading books. Like, they're not massively like literary, profound. Like, they have some elements, like there's a lot of Greek mythology included in it, because the main characters are like the guards of the Greek gods, or they used to be the guards of the Greek gods, and then they were shunned and stuff happens. So there's a lot of Greek mythology in that saga. But aside from that, it's not that it's particularly profound. It's not like this book that really makes you think, or it's easy reading, but I love them so much. I have a strong emotional attachment to those books. So yeah, my favorite books aren't necessarily based on, oh yes, because like in a literary sense, these are very intellectual, or these are very deep, or these are very clever, or these are very... Not necessarily. It's just is it enjoyable? The Goldfinch is an example of a book that I find very intelligent. I was very impressed with the writing of that book. Angelology, I can't say exactly what it is. Thank you for the follow. Dharma? I'm gonna say Dharma. Thank you. I've been talking about books for over half an hour now. Sorry. Yeah, Angelology, I wouldn't be able to put my finger on exactly what it is that I love so much about that book, like why it impresses me so much. I think it's the fact that I didn't understand it the first time I read it. The first time I read it, I really enjoyed it. And then, lol nice, what do you read? You would have to listen to the last half hour of this stream for me to answer that question. I read pretty much every genre. I was saying I'm not a huge fan of contemporary romance or historic romance set in the real world. I do very much enjoy like fantasy romance type things. So yeah. I read a lot of romance, but always, or almost always, in fantasy type settings. I don't know what the difference is with like real world romance books, but for some reason my brain's just like, nah, this is cringy as heck, I can't do it. Oh, I also avoid, now that I think about it, I also avoid like the really depressing books like about what was that book called? Something Written in Our Stars, The Fate Written in Our Stars or something, where like there's cancer involved, people die very sadly. I don't mind people being murdered, I don't mind people being tortured, I don't mind people being run over, but I can't deal with like long-term illnesses and stuff like that. The Fault in Our Stars, that's it. That's the one. Like that kind of book I can't read. I cannot. Everything in me rejects them. I really can't read those books. But yeah, any other genre aside from that, I've pretty much covered. I don't read much fiction, but I like it from time to time. I read it. Well, I read fiction almost all the time. It's very rare that I would read a true story or a biography. I do read them, but very rarely. True stories, if I read them, usually crime related, like true crime, or interview transcripts with criminals and things like that. True, yeah, too much violence, I also stay away. Oh no, with me, it's the opposite. Like, give me all the gore and all the violence and everything. Like, love that stuff. The darker it is, the better. The gorier it is, the better. Like, horror and everything, I absolutely love. But yeah, I can't do with the depressing illnesses, and I can't deal with the real world contemporary romances and historic romances, because they make me cringe really badly. But yeah, I can do romance, but in a fantasy setting for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, back to Angelology. So the first time I read it, in fairness, I was too young, but I remember I read it and I was like, I really enjoyed this book. I didn't understand this book. I need to reread it. Now, mind you, I was 12 at the time. I was way too young to be reading that book. Like, there was no way I was ever going to understand it at that age. So I reread it again when I was 15, and I understood it better. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, now I'm beginning to understand. And I knew I still hadn't understood it fully. So then I read it again at some point when I was like 18, 19, 20, something like that. And that's been like the three most recent reads of that book. And then I really did understand it. So I think, even though I can't name exactly what it is about that book that has made me like it so much, I think it's the fact that I was forced to reread it to understand it properly. That's what impacted me about that book. I think it's also the first book I'd ever read that I didn't understand the first time I read it. I was always reading above my age, or like mixing my own age with above my age. And I'd never struggled to understand a book until Angelology. Like there, it was very clear I did not understand the book. Even though I really enjoyed it, I didn't understand it, and I was aware that I didn't understand it. So that was a very interesting experience for 12-year-old me. You hear violence. Of course you hear violence. It's me. I'm trying to think what other vampire-y, demon-y, werewolfy books have I read that aren't necessarily romance related, like Scarlet. I'd definitely say Scarlet is the best one. I guess Angelology, it's not gory, but Angelology is not romance based. There are elements of it, but because it's relevant to the development of the characters, but it's not the center of what happens. Um, Dracula is technically a romance, so that doesn't count. Mace will hit me with the pan again. Yes, I will hit you with the pan on your birthday. Now be shush behind the fridge. Ooh, I know. It's not super gory. Well, actually, it's on the fence there. Really good. Is it trilogy? Yeah, it's a trilogy. Really good trilogy by Mark Lawrence. That man, I need to meet that man. Absolutely loved that trilogy. Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, and Emperor of Thorns, I think. Yeah. Um that trilogy is amazing. The world building in that trilogy is so good. So good. To me, like Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings type books, or like The Witcher, Game of Thrones, the world building is absolutely amazing. However, you have to be in a certain place in your head to be able to read them, because they can get tedious because they're so well written. Like the worlds are so rich, so detailed. It gets a bit tedious to read them at times. Not all the time, but at times you can be like, okay, like now I'm having to think about this other part that I read, that like to get the image complete, you know? Somehow Mark Lawrence in 3 books made an entire world without, like, with the same level of detail and clarity in my brain, without resorting to 20 non-stop pages of descriptions. Like, that might be an exaggeration, but you get what I mean. And that doesn't mean that I don't like Tolkien or George R.R. Martin, or like, they are amazing authors and I love those books. I love them. But they become difficult to read if you are tired. That's basically what it comes down to. Like, they are not the easiest books in the world to read. I never had that sensation when I was reading Mark Lawrence. When I read Mark Lawrence, the world is super clear. The characters are super clear, and it's easy to read. It's super fast paced as well. A lot happens very slowly, but you don't feel like it's happening slowly. And then there are parts where obviously things happen quickly. But it's not tedious at any point. You feel like you're reading like a lighter book. And I think that is very impressive. For that level of clarity in the world building, I don't know, it feels very efficient. And I would say he's in one of my favorite book boxes under my bed. Out of the 2 favorite book boxes, he's in one of them, in the fantasy one. And yeah, I was really, really impressed when I read that trilogy. I was like, wow. And I have that trilogy, and I have two books from another series that he wrote, and I need to buy the rest. I have read in ebook format. I've read another two, I think. And I need to read the rest, and I need to buy them. But yeah, he's really good. He's really, really good. Um, and no, also not romantic. Or not as the main element. That's part of the character building or world building. Um, yeah, it's he's a very good author. Very, very good author. Again, like I've read thousands of books, and even more if we want to add on like the books that I've reread over and over and over again. So when I a lot of authors are really good, but occasionally you get one that just stands out. And I would say Mark Lawrence is one of them. Thomas Emerson from Scarlet is another. Danielle Trissoni with Angelology is another. And Donna Tartt with The Goldfinch is another. Stephen King is another one as well, as a general rule. Not any specific book of his. Probably The Dark Tower, because let's be honest and loyal to him. And It. But yeah, he's probably another one of those. That I'm just impressed when I finish a book. I'm just impressed. It's not like, oh, it was such a good series, it was so well written. No, no, I'm actually impressed, like really impressed by how this was put together, and yeah, the balancing of it, and like the whole effect, shall we say. But yeah, definitely Mark Lawrence. I was really, really impressed when I read that trilogy. Really impressed. Definitely. Yeah. He's high up on, as soon as I go back to buying books, like in physical format, I mean, um, he's at the top of the list to buy all of his books. Um, so yeah. I want to reread Scarlet now. I wonder what Scarlet would be like now, because I think the last time I read Scarlet must have been like 8, 9 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, shall we say. So I'm curious what even more adult Mace would think about Scarlet. I just remember it was very good and very gory. Definite horror story. Not the kind of horror that like you then stroll to sleep at night. It's not the Stephen King horror or the creepiness of, like, sometimes with Joe Nesbo, it's like, oh my god, is there a serial killer outside? Um or a killer, not even a serial killer, just a killer. Is there a murderer outside? Like, it's not that kind of horror. It is just it's the gory kind of horror, which in my case doesn't affect my sleep. Um, but yeah, that was really, really good. And now I'm trying to think of fairy books that I've read, books with fairies in them. There was one series, Ink, Ink something. Uh, I think that's one of the few series that I read. Thing is, I couldn't even get through the whole series because the main character annoyed me. I know I read at least 3 books. Um, it was a really interesting concept as well, but the main character ended up annoying me, so I ended up not continuing. I still have I, do I still have all the books? I have all the ones that I read. Yeah, I have all the ones that I read. Um, yeah. Called Ink something. Oh, and a classic from my generation, was as a like young teenager was Ghost Girl. There are so many people I speak to who know Ghost Girl. It's insane because to me it wasn't that big of a book when I read it like back in the day. Like I didn't feel like there was that much hype around Ghost Girl when I bought it, when I read it, and in like the time after that. But in as an adult, speaking with other readers, Ghost Girl comes up fairly often from other people without me mentioning it. And to me it wasn't even my favorite it wasn't even my favorite book as a teenager. It wasn't one of my favorite books as a teenager. It was a decent book. It was interesting. The cover was really cool. But yeah, it wasn't a book that I was like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. And yet somehow as an adult that seems to be the book that comes up most in conversation with other women who read as young teenagers, which is really strange to me because it didn't impact me that much, but it seems to have impacted other people a lot. And then there was a second book, and I don't know if I've read the second book. I know I don't have it, but I'm wondering if I borrowed it from someone at some point. I might have borrowed it because I'm pretty sure I know what the cover looks like and I'm pretty sure I remember what happens. Yeah. And then there's so many standalone books. So many. I love books. I don't know why I've been speaking about books for the last hour. I do apologise. Y'all didn't sign up for this. Y'all signed up for Hogwarts. Thing is, Hogwarts is done. Actually, Hogwarts is done. We finished Hogwarts. I just realised. Oh my god. Okay. Um. Hmm. Right. Um. We need to get serious about what standalone game am I playing next. Oh, we got to make decisions, people. Many decisions have to be made. Ow, my wrist just cracked. Okay, we will have to talk about it on the Discord, and we'll make decisions. We could also say that all streams from now on are going to be Dream Drop Distance until I finally beat Young Xehanort, regardless of the day of the week it is, and then we'll start a new Kingdom Hearts and a new standalone game at the same time. So that buys me some more time to decide what standalone game I want to play. I also want to pick up Baldur's Gate again, but on my own time. Y'all know I don't play Baldur's Gate on stream because that would be a torturous experience for all of us because of how I play. But yeah, I definitely want to pick up Baldur's Gate again on my own time. So I'll have to think about that as well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go now. I think I've been talking. Posture check. There we go. I think I've been talking about books for more than long enough now. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Sorry for the endless talking about books. Como tus las patitas abajo, que el olor pega fuerte. My legs are down. My feet are in my flip flops on the floor. Como tus sartenazos. I'm not that mean. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me, for listening to me talk endlessly about books, for joining me through Hogwarts. We definitely need to choose our next game. Hey, Suits. And yeah, happy birthday again to Tony. I hope you had a nice evening. I hope you've had a nice day in general. Well, what is it? And yeah, I really appreciate that you're here every stream. Like I mess with you and I say you need to get alive and everything, but I appreciate the support and the fact that you're here for every stream and everything. So thank you very much. And I hope you had a wonderful birthday and it continues to be wonderful. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with some Minecraft, okay? Bye-bye. Be good, be nice, don't be heartless, and I'll see y'all tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.